In this video, I'm going to show you how to change indices in a power series. So for example, we have this sum as n goes from 2 to infinity of a sub n times n minus 1 times x to n minus 2. Let's say we want our series to have the term x to n minus 2 as x to n. So I want to change that n minus 2 to just x to n. So we can do this in two methods. Method 1, let's use a substitution. Let's say k equals n minus 2, which means n is going to be k plus 2. Well, this summation is going to be, well, we had starting at n equals 2. Well, if n equals 2, k equals 0. So I'm going to get k equals 0 to infinity of a sub n, right, a sub n, but n it's k plus 2 now. So a sub k plus 2 times n, so times k plus 2, times n minus 1, so it's k plus 2 minus 1, which we can do mentally, it's k plus 1, and then x to the k. And you can check by actually giving values. So if you give values to this series, if you say n equals 2, you get a times 2, a sub 2 times 1 times x to 0. Plus, if n equals 3, you get a times 3, a sub 3 times 2 x to the first, plus dot dot dot. Now let me do the same. Let me give k value of 0. So I'm going to get a sub 2 times 1 x to 0. Plus, if k equals 1, I get a sub 3 times 2 times x to the first. So I'm actually getting exactly the same terms, only now the power is not n minus 2, it's actually k, but I can also specify the fact that this, it doesn't matter if it's k, so I can go back and rewrite it n equals 0 to infinity a sub n plus 2 times n plus 2 times n plus 1 x to n. So I can actually have it back in n is going to generate exactly the same terms regardless of the letter that you are using. Just be careful that when you make the conversion, you are converting it back, you are using the correct substitution. Now the second method, which once you understand the first method, the second method should be a little bit, it's using intuition. So the way I'm going to use my intuition is by comparing these two, so this one that I'm highlighting here in yellow with this one, the first result or the first problem with the result. What do we, so let's compare them. When this power here, right, when this power became n, what happened? I added a 2 to my exponent, right? So basically every single n after the summation sign increased by 2, right? Even n minus 1 plus 2, it's n plus 1. So we added a 2, and we added a 2 here as well, and here as well, and here as well, right? We added to every single, so this one became sum a sub n plus 1, sorry, I said I'm going to add a 2, n plus 2 times n plus 2 times n plus 2 minus 1, which is n plus 1, x to the n. Now what happened to the n in the summation? Well, it started at n, so where we added a 2, here we are subtracting, right? Because now n starts at 0. So here we are subtracted 2. So it's going to be n equals 0 to infinity. And we are generating exactly the same thing. I hope this helps.